Hi to all of our friends and neighbors in Palmetto Bluff. I'm Mary Stahlman, and behind the camera is my husband, Gray. I grew up in rural South Carolina, and one of my favorite comfort dishes, which we all could use a little comfort about now, is chicken and rice. And where I came from, we would call that chicken bog, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It's easy. You probably have everything already in your pantry. So let's get started with that. It's some basic ingredients. I had in the freezer chopped celery and onions, so I'm going to put those in my Dutch oven, my pot here. Toss this over here for a second. I'm going to add 4 cups of chicken broth. If you have homemade stock, that's great. You can add a little bit more water to this if you want to. We're going to just start with this. I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner on here to high. And this is a process, so we will cut in and out and show you how this gets done. Okay, so that's 4 cups of chicken broth. The other ingredient that we're going to use later in South Carolina, rice is big. Everybody grew up eating a lot of rice, and this is the one that I'm going to use today for this recipe, and we'll get to this later on. I've got 2 good-sized chicken breasts here. When my mom would make this, she would use a whole fryer, but for convenience, off please, go on. I'm going to use 2 chicken breasts. It makes the process easier. It takes out some of the fat. So we're just going to put these in here, and I have put a little salt and pepper on them. We're going to add more. You need to not be afraid to use salt and pepper. And really, this is where we're going to start. So I'm going to add a little bit more salt and pepper to the whole thing. My hands are clean. I've washed them a bazillion times. So we're going to add a little bit more salt, and we're going to add some pepper. And pepper is really the heat that's going to your taste that we're going to have in here. These are really the basic seasonings. And so we're going to let this cook for a little bit, and we will come back to you and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so our chicken and stock and our celery and onions have come to a nice low boil, and they're looking good. And we're just going to let the chicken cook for a while until it is tender enough that we can shred it with a pair of forks. Okay, I've removed the chicken breast, and I've added a cup of my mom's favorite rice, and we're going to cook it until it's about soupy. Okay, now we have our rice that is kind of at what I would call a soupy stage. That's a highly technical term. We're going to add in our shredded chicken. These are the 2 chicken breasts, and I have taken them out of the pot and shredded them. And here they go into our rice and stock mixture, and let's just stir that together. There's no magic formula here. This is really until the rice is tender and there's not all this liquid that you see here. It will cook up nice and fluffy, and you may need to leave your top off of your pot or just a little ajar. And so I'll come back and show you after this is cooked a little bit. Looks about right. We'll take up a little bit. It's always good if it sits up a day or 2. I hope that you enjoy this little bit of South Carolina comfort food. Here's to Palmetto Bluff. When I was growing up, we would often have fundraiser barbecues, and they had a dish called chicken bog, and this is one of my favorite memories of my childhood, and my mom made it. And basically it's chicken and rice, and it's a solid comfort food. I love to have it with fresh butter beans, but if you wanted to make it a little more fancy, of course you could probably put some roasted vegetables with it. We hope you'll enjoy making this Southern comfort food recipe. See you soon, y'all.